The morning after the first contact, the Galactic Empire's delegation gathered in the command chamber of their vessel. A tension that had been growing subtly now hummed in the air, almost palpable. Captain Velyar stood before his officers, his expression calm yet thoughtful, a rare crease of worry across his forehead. "They adapt too quickly," Arindra said quietly, pointing to the holographic displays of human activity on Earth. "Every time we demonstrate a device, they analyze, they test, and they improve almost immediately. They are learning far faster than anticipated." Velyar paced slowly. "Yes, I have observed this. They are primitive in technology, yes, but their intelligence, it is dangerous in its unpredictability. We have underestimated them." He paused, considering the implications. "We need to understand how far their adaptability goes. Not just tools, but strategy, problem-solving, and collaboration. I want a controlled demonstration tomorrow. Nothing harmful, only tests of their cognitive abilities and decision-making." The delegation prepared carefully. The plan was simple. Present a challenge to the humans using a simulation of advanced technology. The aliens would monitor how humans responded, testing ingenuity and adaptability. It was not meant to intimidate, but to observe. Yet Captain Velyar knew deep inside that the outcome could change their perception forever. On Earth, humans were unaware of the plans unfolding above them. Elena, the diplomat, and her small team had discussed the aliens' behavior in hushed tones late into the night. "They underestimate us," Elena said. "They think we are fragile, unprepared, and slow, but they haven't seen how we work together." Her colleague Malik nodded. "I agree. They assume technology is the measure of power, but our strength lies in our minds, our creativity, and our resilience. That is something they cannot calculate easily." Elena smiled faintly. "Then we will show them, carefully but clearly. Let them understand that we are more than they expect." The next day, the aliens initiated the simulation. A holographic device appeared in a public area, projecting patterns, lights, and puzzles. To the human eye, it looked intricate and confusing. To the aliens, it was a minor demonstration of their intellectual superiority. They expected the humans to hesitate, make mistakes, or show fear. Instead, humans gathered around the device with curiosity. They observed patterns, discussed ideas aloud, and experimented. Slowly, one by one, they discovered solutions. Each solution built upon the last, demonstrating teamwork, reasoning, and improvisation. The aliens observed in astonishment. Arindra leaned closer to the console. "Captain, they are not just responding. They are predicting, adjusting, and even innovating. Every step they take seems to anticipate the next challenge. This is unprecedented." Velyar's jaw tightened. "Yes, they are learning too fast. Too much. We expected confusion, hesitation, not this level of problem-solving." The humans, led by Elena and Malik, had begun to modify the simulation itself. They suggested improvements that were clever, efficient, and often unexpected. Each time the device presented a new challenge, they adapted instantly, using logic, creativity, and intuition. One of the younger humans, a student named Rena, discovered a pattern that even the aliens had overlooked. With a single adjustment, she completed a sequence that the Empire's delegation had assumed would take hours to solve. The alien officers exchanged uneasy glances. Captain Velyar cleared his throat. "This is remarkable and concerning. They are not primitive by our standards. Their problem-solving is rapid, precise, and flexible. I did not expect this." Arindra's voice was quiet but firm. "We may have underestimated them. Their technological limitations do not reflect the true measure of their intelligence. They think differently than we do, and that makes them unpredictable." The aliens debated whether to intervene. Should they reveal the full extent of their technology to test humans further, or should they withdraw before the humans' cleverness escalated further? Velyar remained silent, weighing options carefully. Meanwhile, the humans had learned quickly how to manipulate the device safely, using observation, trial, and collaboration. They did not panic when patterns shifted or when simulated challenges increased. Instead, they adapted, discussed strategies, and worked together seamlessly. Every unexpected twist became an opportunity, every obstacle a puzzle to solve. For the first time in history, the Empire faced a species whose minds operated in a way that they could not fully predict. The humans' combination of logic, creativity, teamwork, and resilience made them formidable, not in sheer force but in potential. Irindra looked to Velier. Captain, their adaptability is remarkable. They may be small, but their minds are sharp. Even if their technology is limited, they have the potential to surpass expectations rapidly. Velier nodded slowly, a hint of unease in his usually confident expression. Yes, we must document everything carefully. Today it is only a simulation. Tomorrow, who knows what they could do if given more time. Later that evening, the aliens convened privately to discuss the outcome. The consensus was unanimous. Humans were more capable than they had assumed. Even minor intelligence tests revealed ingenuity, speed, and creativity far beyond typical species at similar technological stages. They adapt too quickly for comfort, one officer said. Their minds operate in ways we cannot predict. We can teach, guide, or intimidate, and yet they will find their own solutions. Velier spoke last. Exactly. That is the danger. Not their weapons, they have none. Not their numbers, they are small. But their minds, they are unpredictable. That is what makes them formidable. This is a species that refuses to be controlled by expectation. The realization settled heavily in the room. For millennia, the Empire had encountered species that followed patterns, species that could be classified, predicted, and managed. Humans defied all such assumptions. They were not merely reactive, they were proactive, adaptive, and clever in ways the Empire had never anticipated. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Elena and her team discussed their own observations. They had sensed the aliens' tests and realized that they were being assessed. They see us as small and weak, Elena said. They do not understand that our strength is not in size or weapons, but in thinking, adapting, and working together. Malik nodded. Yes, and today we showed them. We did not fight. We did not challenge with force. We simply solved the problems they set before us. That is our power, Rena added with a smile. They will remember this. We made an impression, without violence. That is important. They must understand that humans are more than they appear. As night fell, the Galactic Empire's delegation retreated to orbit, reviewing every detail of the encounter. Captain Velier gazed at the planet below, a small blue dot in the vast galaxy. Today we have seen something unusual, something I have not seen in centuries of exploration. Irindra added softly. They are resilient, they adapt, they innovate. They do not fear the unknown, that is, rare. Velier nodded slowly, feeling a mixture of awe and unease. Yes, the humans may be small now, but potential is something the Empire must never underestimate. Below them, humans returned to their daily lives, unaware of the deep impression they had made. They had not sought attention or domination. They had simply been themselves. And in doing so, they had demonstrated something the Empire could not ignore: intelligence, creativity, and adaptability that could rival even the most advanced civilizations. For the first time, the Galactic Empire began to realize a simple truth. Strength is not always measured by weapons, size, or technology. Sometimes it is measured by the mind, by resilience, by the ability to adapt, innovate, and work together against unexpected challenges. The first controlled test had ended. Humans had won. Not by force, not by intimidation, but by thinking, learning, and adapting. And that was a lesson the Empire would carry with them, quietly, uneasily, and with a growing sense of caution. The clash of minds had begun, and in the silent darkness of space, a new respect and a subtle fear took root in the hearts of the galaxy's most advanced explorers. Days turned into weeks, but Ethan Calloway's determination never wavered. Alone on the massive alien station, he had stabilized the core systems and brought some sections back to life. But the true challenge had just begun. The station's secrets were locked behind technology unlike anything humans had ever built, yet Ethan's mind thrived on challenges. Every alien panel, every shifting hologram, every humming piece of machinery was a puzzle waiting to be solved. The first step was observation. Ethan spent hours studying control panels, tracing circuits, and watching the way energy flowed through the station. The alien technology was incredibly advanced, but it obeyed rules. Patterns existed even if they were unfamiliar. Symbols shifted across screens, sometimes forming intricate geometric shapes, sometimes forming lines that connected different nodes on a holographic map. Ethan noticed a rhythm, a hidden logic behind what seemed chaotic at first. He decided to start small. A room he had discovered earlier contained a series of small drones, identical in design to the security unit he had encountered in the corridor. These drones had long been inactive, their energy cores depleted, but the station systems hinted that they could still function. Ethan carefully removed a small energy cell from the station's power grid and inserted it into a drone. The drone's central blue light flickered, and then slowly it powered up. The drone hovered before him, scanning, analyzing. Ethan extended a hand. "Easy. I'm not a threat," he said softly. It emitted a series of melodic tones, almost as if responding to him. Over the next few days, he powered up more drones, learning their patterns, observing how they moved and interacted. Some were maintenance units capable of repairing minor damage. Others were security units programmed to protect the station. By understanding these drones, Ethan began to grasp the fundamental logic of the station's systems. The next breakthrough came when Ethan discovered a chamber filled with dormant machinery that resembled a massive energy lattice. The lattice pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat, and he realized it was linked to the station's power distribution. Previously, some areas had flickering lights, unstable gravity, and sporadic energy flows. By studying the lattice, he could stabilize these systems permanently. For several days, Ethan worked tirelessly, adjusting energy conduits, rerouting power, and recalibrating the station's sensors. At times, sparks flew, alarms buzzed, and machinery groaned as if protesting the changes. But his patience and skill paid off. Slowly, corridors that had been dark and cold now glowed with steady light, and gravity became uniform throughout the station. While the work was rewarding, Ethan was careful. The alien technology was not always predictable. One evening, as he examined a series of energy nodes, a surge of power rippled through the room. He barely dodged the energy beam, which struck the floor where he had been standing moments before. Heart-pounding, he analyzed the panel and discovered that the system had a built-in failsafe. It activated when it detected sudden unfamiliar interference. Ethan realized that to work safely, he would have to respect the station's design, not just force it to function. Over time, his confidence grew. He started combining human engineering techniques with alien technology. For example, he modified the drones using components from his own toolkit, improving their efficiency without breaking the station's systems. Small victories became a daily routine, fixing a broken conduit, rerouting power, repairing a navigation module. Each success taught him more about the alien logic, and each failure reminded him of the importance of patience. One day, while exploring a previously sealed chamber, Ethan discovered a series of alien artifacts. They appeared to be data storage units embedded with strange crystalline cores. Each core pulsed with energy, and delicate alien scripts floated around them in holographic form. Ethan carefully connected his diagnostic tools and began decoding the information. It was a challenge. The language and coding were unlike anything humans had ever encountered. But as he studied the patterns, he noticed similarities to basic mathematical principles. Bit by bit, Ethan unlocked fragments of the alien data. He learned that the station had once been a hub for interstellar research, hosting experiments in energy manipulation, biological studies, and advanced propulsion systems. There were logs of alien crews, descriptions of planetary systems, and technical schematics for machinery far more advanced than human technology. The knowledge was incredible but incomplete. Large sections of the database were corrupted or missing, likely damaged during the station's abandonment. Despite the gaps, Ethan felt exhilaration. Here, in the middle of nowhere, he was uncovering the knowledge of an entire alien civilization, and yet he was not overwhelmed. Humans had a unique ability to adapt, to improvise, to find solutions where others might see only obstacles. Ethan felt proud of that. He was alone, yes, but capable, and every day, he learned more. One afternoon, while testing a newly repaired drone, Ethan noticed an anomaly on the station's holographic map. A sector previously dark was now showing faint energy signatures like dormant systems trying to come online. Curious, he ventured into the corridor leading to the sector. As he entered, he realized he was in what appeared to be the station's central control hub. The room was enormous, filled with consoles, holographic displays, and energy conduits running like veins along the walls. The hub was silent, but it radiated potential. Ethan approached a central console and cautiously touched its interface. The system flickered, then stabilized, projecting a massive holographic display of the station's internal systems. For the first time, he could see the full network, the pathways of energy, the locations of machinery, and the function of each drone. He spent hours studying it, tracing circuits, and noting potential upgrades. It was then that he realized something remarkable. The station, abandoned and lifeless, could be improved. Its design was brilliant, yes, but it had weaknesses. Energy inefficiencies, outdated navigation protocols, and systems that had degraded over time. Ethan began to plan. If he could repair and optimize the station, he could transform it into something more than it had ever been before. A fusion of alien brilliance and human ingenuity. The work was exhausting. Ethan spent long cycles repairing energy nodes, recalibrating navigation systems, and testing life support modules. Every adjustment was careful, deliberate, guided by both observation and instinct. He faced failures, energy surges that shut down systems temporarily, drones malfunctioning and corridors flooding with sparks, but each setback was a lesson. Humans were not defined by how easily they avoided problems, but by how cleverly they solved them. As days passed, small improvements became noticeable. Gravity stabilized throughout more sections of the station. Lighting became uniform and drones operated with precision. Ethan even began experimenting with minor modifications. He adjusted the drones' programming to allow them to assist in repairs more efficiently. He rerouted power through redundant channels to prevent future failures. Slowly, the station began to feel less like a dead relic and more like a living, responsive structure. Despite progress, Ethan remained cautious. He had learned that alien systems could be unpredictable. One evening, while activating a series of energy relays, a sudden pulse surged through the room, causing the lights to flicker violently. He dived behind a console just in time. Heart racing, he analyzed the system and discovered that the relays had a self-protection protocol designed to prevent overloading. It was a reminder. The station was powerful, but it was not to be taken lightly. Respect and patience were essential, but these challenges only strengthened Ethan's resolve. He began to see patterns, to predict the behavior of systems, and to plan upgrades that would make the station more efficient. He realized that he was not merely surviving, he was learning, adapting, and improving. Each day brought new discoveries, new challenges, and new opportunities to test the limits of human ingenuity. By the end of this period, Ethan had achieved remarkable success. He had fully activated one wing of the station, repaired major energy conduits, and established a network of drones to assist in daily operations. The once dark corridors now glowed steadily, and minor systems hummed with life. For the first time, he felt a sense of belonging, not just to the station, but to the possibilities it represented. Ethan leaned against a railing, gazing out of a massive observation window at the stars beyond. He thought of Earth, of humans exploring the galaxy, and of the endless potential waiting for those who dared to take risks. He smiled faintly. Alone as he was, he felt powerful, not through strength or numbers, but through skill, intelligence, and determination. The station, abandoned and lifeless, had become a challenge worthy of human skill. And Ethan Calloway, human engineer, was ready to meet it head-on. The secrets of the alien station were slowly unfolding before him, and he knew that this was only the beginning. The real transformation, the creation of something extraordinary, was yet to come. Ethan Calloway walked through the central corridor of the alien station, his footsteps echoing softly against the metallic walls. What had once been a cold, abandoned relic now hummed with life. Lights glowed evenly, energy flowed through the conduits without interruption, and drones moved efficiently, performing maintenance and monitoring the systems. The station was no longer merely functional. It was alive, responding almost as if it had a consciousness of its own. Ethan paused for a moment, looking at a holographic map of the station's systems. Every subsystem he had repaired or improved was now integrated into a seamless network. Navigation controls were optimized, energy systems were enhanced, and life support modules maintained perfect environmental balance. The station's once chaotic technology had been refined under human ingenuity, and the results were extraordinary. For the first time, Ethan allowed himself to imagine the station not just as a place of survival, but as a creation, his creation. The first major project he tackled that cycle was the integration of the drone network into the station's core operations. Previously, drones had operated independently, following basic routines. Ethan spent days programming coordination protocols, allowing drones to communicate directly with the station's central systems and with each other. Maintenance tasks were completed faster, repairs were anticipated before failures occurred, and the station itself began to operate like a single, cohesive organism. With the drones functioning optimally, Ethan turned his attention to the observation decks and communal areas. He wanted the station to be more than just efficient. He wanted it to be beautiful. Using holographic projectors, he recreated alien architectural designs while blending in human aesthetics. Soft glowing patterns adorned walls and ceilings, inspired by both alien geometry and natural earth motifs. Colors shifted gently in response to movement, giving the station a sense of life and rhythm. Walking through these areas now felt calming and inspiring, a stark contrast to the cold, abandoned structure he had first encountered. Ethan also worked on energy optimization, a project that required both precision and creativity. He noticed that some conduits had been overbuilt by the alien engineers, resulting in unnecessary energy loss. By rerouting flows, upgrading storage cores, and integrating redundant pathways, he reduced inefficiencies dramatically. Energy that had once been wasted was now stored for future use, and the station could maintain peak performance for extended periods without strain. The culmination of his efforts came when he tackled the navigation and propulsion systems. The alien station had been capable of interstellar travel, but the controls were complex and many systems were damaged. Ethan carefully studied alien schematics, adapting them with human logic to simplify operations. He calibrated thrusters, adjusted energy distribution for propulsion, and even integrated predictive navigation algorithms. Once tested, the station responded smoothly, gliding with precision through simulated movements in the starfield outside. He smiled. This was not just a repair, it was an improvement, a fusion of human understanding and alien engineering. But perfection required balance. Ethan had to ensure that all systems worked in harmony. He conducted repeated tests on environmental controls, gravity stabilization, and drone coordination. Minor fluctuations in gravity, energy spikes, or communication delays could have cascading effects, but he anticipated each problem and addressed it before it escalated. It was meticulous work, demanding patience, focus, and ingenuity. Each challenge strengthened his understanding of the station, deepening the connection he felt to the massive structure. While making these improvements, Ethan also discovered hidden alien archives, containing holographic recordings and stored data from the original crew. He studied them carefully, learning about the station's design philosophy, experimental projects, and operational protocols. This knowledge allowed him to enhance the station without causing unintended failures. He respected the alien designs while incorporating human solutions, creating a hybrid system that retained the brilliance of the original creators while benefiting from human problem-solving and creativity. One day, as Ethan walked through the station's central hub, a minor anomaly appeared on the holographic displays, an unexpected energy pulse in the upper maintenance levels. He moved quickly to investigate, discovering that a drone swarm had triggered a loop in a dormant system. Normally, such an event could have caused a shutdown or even damage, but Ethan had anticipated the possibility. He activated corrective protocols and the system stabilized. Observing the synchronized drones adjusting their behavior, he felt a surge of pride. Human innovation had tamed alien complexity, As weeks passed, Ethan continued refining every aspect of the station. He installed automated monitoring systems, capable of detecting failures and correcting them without human intervention. He enhanced communication arrays, allowing him to attempt long-range signals to human colonies. Hydroponic gardens expanded, providing not just sustenance but a touch of natural beauty. Even recreational areas were improved, with adjustable lighting and holographic scenery to simulate familiar Earth environments. The station was no longer just a survival habitat, it was a masterpiece. Then came the day that truly tested his ingenuity. A rogue alien probe, a relic from distant sectors of space, approached the station. Its systems were unknown, and it could have posed a serious threat. Ethan monitored it carefully from the central hub. Using the station's improved sensors and navigation controls, he analyzed the probe's trajectory and behavior. He realized it was investigating, scanning the station to determine its status. With calm precision, he programmed a sequence to subtly interact with the probe, responding in a way that indicated the station was already fully operational and defended. The probe hesitated, then retreated into the void. Ethan exhaled. Once again, human ingenuity had prevailed. That night, Ethan paused in the observation deck, looking out at the endless expanse of stars. He reflected on the journey, from the first day when he had awoken alone in a cold, abandoned station, to the present moment where he controlled a fully operational, optimized, and beautiful structure. The transformation was staggering. What had been left to decay had been reborn through the skill, patience, and creativity of a single human mind. Ethan realized that the station was more than just a triumph of engineering. It was a testament to the potential of humanity itself. Alone in space, without resources or support, he had taken on a challenge far beyond ordinary limits. He had adapted, learned, and improved systems designed by an alien civilization, turning them into something better than they had been before. This was the essence of human ingenuity, the ability to take the unknown, the complex and the dangerous, and transform it into opportunity. To celebrate the milestone, Ethan decided to conduct a full systems test. He activated propulsion units, ran energy optimization cycles, coordinated the drone networks, and monitored life support systems. Everything functioned perfectly. Lights, gravity, temperature, and oxygen were stable. Drones moved like synchronized dancers. Holographic displays responded instantly to his commands. The station, once abandoned and lifeless, was now a living, breathing entity under his guidance. Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. He had done what many would have considered impossible. He had taken an alien station, abandoned and forgotten, and turned it into a masterpiece of functionality and beauty. Every system, every design, every drone was proof of human capability, the ability to adapt, innovate, and overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. Yet even as he admired his work, Ethan knew that the station was not only a personal achievement. It had the potential to serve humanity on a larger scale. Communication arrays were now functional enough to send signals to distant colonies. The station could serve as a hub for research, exploration, and even interstellar diplomacy. What had begun as a place of survival could now become a beacon of human innovation, a shining example of what one determined human mind could accomplish. As he prepared for rest, Ethan reflected on the lessons he had learned. Isolation had tested him, forcing him to rely on skill, creativity, and determination. The alien systems had challenged him, pushing his knowledge to new limits. Every failure, every surge, every obstacle had been a lesson in patience and problem-solving. He realized that the human mind, when applied with focus and ingenuity, could not only survive the unknown, it could master it. The station, glowing softly with energy and humming with coordinated systems, seemed to pulse in response to his thoughts. Ethan felt a connection to it, as if it recognized his efforts, his creativity, and his persistence. He had transformed the abandoned station into something extraordinary, something that represented both the brilliance of its original creators and the unmatched adaptability of humanity. As he lay down to rest, Ethan looked out at the stars, a faint smile on his face. The journey was not over. The station still held secrets, still offered challenges, and still had the potential for further improvement. But for the first time, he allowed himself a moment of pride, Alone in the middle of deep space, a human engineer had taken the impossible and made it real. He had not. Ethan Calloway stood at the center of the alien station, surveying the incredible transformation that had taken place over months of tireless work. What had once been a cold, abandoned structure drifting in the void was now a marvel of engineering, a perfect fusion of alien design and human innovation. Lights glowed steadily throughout the corridors, energy pulsed efficiently through every conduit, and the drones moved with precision, coordinating maintenance and environmental regulation flawlessly. For the first time, Ethan truly felt the magnitude of what he had accomplished. Alone, with no team, no support, and no instructions from his own species, he had taken on a station built by an alien civilization and turned it into something extraordinary. It was more than just functional. It was alive, vibrant, and ready for a new purpose. But Ethan knew that his work was not just about personal achievement. The station had the potential to serve humanity. Its energy systems were powerful enough to support long-term habitation and scientific research. Its advanced propulsion and navigation units meant it could travel to unexplored sectors of space. The improved drones, environmental controls, and hydroponic gardens made it capable of sustaining life for extended periods. This station could become a hub, a symbol of human ingenuity in the galaxy. The first step was communication. Ethan had already repaired some long-range arrays, but he wanted to test them fully. After several adjustments and calibration cycles, he activated the station's communication network, sending a series of encoded messages toward nearby human colonies. Days passed before any response came. Then, finally, a faint signal arrived. Humans had received his transmissions. A surge of relief and pride filled him. His work had not gone unnoticed. He was no longer just surviving. He was connecting humanity to a new frontier. With communications restored, Ethan began preparing the station for potential visitors. He upgraded life support modules to handle multiple occupants, adjusted gravity and environmental systems for comfort, and expanded hydroponic gardens to provide food and clean air. Every improvement reflected human ingenuity, carefully blending alien technology with simple, efficient human solutions. The station was no longer just a functional structure. It was a livable, welcoming environment. As he explored the newly enhanced sections, Ethan discovered an old alien archive he had overlooked before. It contained holographic records of the station's creators, including logs of their research projects and even their failures. Ethan carefully reviewed the data, learning from their successes and mistakes. He realized that while the alien civilization had been brilliant, it lacked certain adaptive qualities that humans excelled in. Where they relied on complex but rigid protocols, humans could improvise, adapt, and improve. He smiled. The station now embodied that very philosophy, the brilliance of alien design elevated by human creativity. One day, while monitoring the station's approach to a nearby star system, Ethan detected an anomaly, a small, drifting craft of unknown origin. It was alien, perhaps a remnant of the same civilization that had built the station. Its systems were partially functional, scanning the area as if searching for something. Ethan carefully observed it, using the station's improved sensors and drones to gather information. Then with precision, he sent a subtle signal, demonstrating that the station was operational and defended. The craft paused, seemed to analyze the data, and then drifted away. Ethan exhaled. Once again, human ingenuity and careful problem-solving had ensured safety without confrontation. News of the station eventually reached human colonies, thanks to Ethan's successful communication arrays. Reports described a massive alien station that had been fully restored and improved by a single human engineer. Scientists, explorers, and engineers were amazed. The station became a symbol of human ingenuity, the idea that one determined individual could take on challenges far beyond ordinary limits and succeed. Humans saw it as a beacon, proof that their species could not only survive in the unknown, but thrive and even improve upon it. Ethan prepared for the first human visitors. He programmed drone escorts to guide newcomers, ensured all systems were fully operational, and arranged living areas, laboratories, and observation decks for efficiency and comfort. As the docking bay opened to receive its first team, he felt a surge of pride. The station was ready to serve humanity, to extend exploration and research into areas previously beyond reach. When the first humans arrived, they were awestruck. The station gleamed with efficiency, its architecture both alien and familiar, functional yet beautiful. Drones moved smoothly, energy flowed without interruption, and the observation decks offered breathtaking views of nearby star systems. Scientists immediately began examining the improved systems, eager to study the alien technology and the human enhancements. Engineers marveled at the integration of human logic with alien design, and Ethan, standing among them, felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. He had turned isolation and survival into creation and legacy. The station quickly became a hub for human activity in that sector. Research teams studied alien technology, engineers experimented with enhancements, and explorers used the station as a base for interstellar missions. Ethan's work had given humanity not only a functional station, but a model of how humans could adapt and innovate in the face of unknown challenges. The station was no longer a lonely outpost, it was a center of discovery, learning, and progress. Ethan continued to refine the station, even after the arrival of other humans. He improved energy efficiency, upgraded drones with new capabilities, and expanded the hydroponic gardens to support more people. He created simulation modules for training and experimentation, blending alien systems with human design principles. Every improvement was a reminder of human adaptability and intelligence. The station was alive in more ways than one. It responded to human input, evolved with new knowledge, and stood as a testament to creativity and perseverance. In quiet moments, Ethan would return to the observation deck, gazing out at the endless stars. He thought about the journey, from the first day he woke alone on a silent station to the present, when it had become a masterpiece of human ingenuity. He reflected on the lessons he had learned: patience, adaptability, problem-solving, and creativity. Humans were capable of extraordinary things when faced with challenges, especially when those challenges demanded intelligence and courage. Ethan also thought about the future. The station could serve as a model for human colonization, research, and exploration throughout the galaxy. Its hybrid systems, alien brilliance refined and enhanced by human innovation, demonstrated what could be achieved when humans combined knowledge, skill, and creativity. It was more than a station. It was a symbol, proof that humanity could master the unknown. One evening, as Ethan monitored the station's energy grids, he received a long-range communication from Earth. The message praised his achievements, described the station as a milestone in human exploration, and invited him to share his experiences with engineers and scientists across the colonies. Ethan smiled. Recognition was not what he sought. It was the accomplishment itself, the act of creating something remarkable in the void of space. Yet the acknowledgement filled him with quiet satisfaction. Over time, the station became a hub for interstellar collaboration. Humans brought in scientists to study alien energy manipulation, engineers to optimize propulsion systems, and explorers to chart new star systems. The drones Ethan had perfected served not only as maintenance units, but also as assistants in research and exploration. The hydroponic garden supplied food, clean air, and even educational opportunities for studying alien botany and ecology. The station had become a center of knowledge, creativity, and innovation. Through it all, Ethan never lost sight of the HFY principle, the core idea that humans, through intelligence, adaptability, and perseverance, could overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. Alone on a distant alien station, he had done what many would have thought impossible. He had taken the unknown, faced it without fear, learned from it, and improved upon it. Humanity, he realized, had not only survived, it had excelled. Years passed, and the station continued to evolve. Each new human arrival brought fresh ideas, improvements, and discoveries. The station became a model for other ventures into deep space, showing how humans could thrive in alien environments, integrate technology from other civilizations, and create something better than what had existed before. The lessons Ethan had learned alone in the station guided countless others. Ethan often walked through the central corridors, watching the station operate smoothly, drones moving in perfect synchronization, energy flowing efficiently, and humans collaborating with precision and creativity. He felt a sense of quiet pride, knowing that his work had not only saved him but had laid the foundation for a new chapter in human exploration. The station was more than a tool. It was a legacy, a beacon, a masterpiece. One final evening, Ethan returned to the observation deck, looking out at the stars that stretched endlessly before him. He thought about Earth, humanity, and the journey that had brought him here. He realized that humans were not limited by isolation, danger, or unfamiliar environments. Their greatest strength lay in their ability to think, adapt, and create. Alone on a distant alien station, Ethan Calloway stood in the central control hub, surveying the station he had slowly begun to revive. The vast array of panels, holographic displays, and intricate machinery stretched in every direction, humming softly with newly restored power. Even after weeks of repairs, the station was still far from complete. Many systems remained offline, and some sections had been damaged too long to function without major reconstruction. But Ethan felt a surge of determination. He had already achieved so much. If he could continue, he could transform the station into something extraordinary. He started with the energy distribution network. The station's core had been repaired enough to stabilize basic systems, but many conduits were inefficient, with energy leaks and irregular flows. Ethan moved systematically, tracing circuits along the walls and floors, recalibrating junctions and reinforcing conduits with alloys from his engineering kit. Sparks flew occasionally, accompanied by low hums and vibrations, but he had learned to expect them. Each adjustment, each careful calibration, brought the station closer to a reliable, balanced energy network. While working, Ethan noticed something remarkable. Small energy pulses seemed to respond to his presence, shifting slightly as he moved through corridors and rooms. The station was not merely passive, it was observing him, learning or at least reacting. It was a strange sensation, knowing that the structure he had once thought lifeless now appeared to acknowledge his actions. It filled him with both excitement and caution. Next, Ethan focused on mobility systems. The station had originally been designed for interstellar travel, but its navigation controls were outdated and partially damaged. With a careful combination of alien design logic and human engineering methods, Ethan began repairing propulsion units and recalibrating guidance systems. It was painstaking work, but he could already envision the station gliding smoothly through space, efficient and precise in ways even the alien builders might not have imagined. During one of his explorations, he discovered a large storage bay filled with alien components. Some were clearly meant for maintenance drones, while others appeared to be tools or experimental devices. Ethan carefully cataloged each item, testing it and noting its function. He began integrating them into the systems he was rebuilding, enhancing efficiency. A maintenance drone, once sluggish and erratic, now moved fluidly, repairing minor faults and assisting Ethan in real time. Not all experiments were successful. One evening, while recalibrating a large energy relay, a sudden surge caused a minor explosion, sending sparks scattering across the floor. Ethan rolled to safety behind a console, his heart racing. After a careful assessment, he realized that the relay had a hidden failsafe he had not accounted for. By adjusting the sequence and rerouting auxiliary power, he managed to bring it online safely. Each mistake was a lesson, and each lesson strengthened his understanding of the station's alien technology. As the station's core system stabilized, Ethan turned his attention to life support and habitation. He had managed to keep basic systems operational, but many sections were still uninhabitable. Gravity fluctuations, irregular air circulation, and temperature inconsistencies made movement and work difficult. He constructed small support modules, blending alien mechanisms with human engineering. Gravity fields became stable throughout corridors. Air circulation systems hummed evenly, and temperature controls adjusted automatically to maintain comfort. Slowly, the station became not just survivable, but functional. Hydroponic gardens were the next innovation. The station had no biological systems of its own, and Ethan needed sustainable food sources. Using his engineering knowledge, he adapted sections of the alien infrastructure to support small plant habitats. Artificial light cycles and nutrient delivery systems allowed seedlings to thrive. Watching the first green shoots emerge from alien hydroponic trays, Ethan felt a surge of satisfaction. The station was no longer a cold, abandoned place. It was becoming alive under his hands. Even with progress, dangers remained. One day, a group of security drones previously dormant activated unexpectedly. Ethan froze as the drones scanned the room, their blue lights locking onto him. But instead of attacking, they paused and emitted a sequence of tones. Observing them, Ethan realized that they were responding to his actions. He had reprogrammed a nearby system without noticing. Carefully, he activated an interface and established a temporary connection with the drones, calming them and integrating them into his operations. Once more, human ingenuity prevailed. The station's central observation window offered a breathtaking view of deep space. As Ethan worked, he often paused to gaze at the stars, contemplating the vastness of the universe. Here he was, alone on a station built by an alien civilization, facing challenges beyond ordinary human experience. And yet he was succeeding. Humans were resourceful, capable of learning and adapting in ways no machine or alien protocol could predict. This realization strengthened his resolve. Ethan began experimenting with modifications that went beyond mere repair. He upgraded energy conduits to reduce power loss, installed redundant navigation circuits, and integrated drone networks for automated maintenance. He even began designing new holographic interfaces to simplify complex alien systems. The station was transforming, not only being repaired but improved, enhanced by human creativity. One significant breakthrough came when Ethan addressed the station's environmental regulation systems. Certain sectors had dangerously fluctuating gravity, while others suffered from extreme temperature shifts. By combining alien gravity regulators with adjustable human-calibrated fields, he created a network that maintained stability across all habitable zones. This innovation allowed him to move freely without fear of disorientation or injury, and it enabled drones to operate at full efficiency. While making these improvements, Ethan encountered remnants of alien research labs. Some contained inactive machinery that seemed designed for experiments with energy manipulation, propulsion, and even quantum communication. Although many devices were damaged, Ethan salvaged components and adapted them for his own use. A small propulsion unit, when integrated with the station's primary systems, improved maneuverability. Energy storage cores, once unstable, were recalibrated to sustain longer periods without human intervention. Each success reinforced the idea that humans could elevate even alien technology. During one particularly challenging day, Ethan faced a complete shutdown of a major power conduit. Sparks erupted along the floor and systems began to fail in sequence. Heart-pounding, he traced the problem to a misaligned energy junction. With careful precision, he recalibrated the alignment and rerouted auxiliary power. Slowly, systems came back online, and the station hummed steadily once more. Exhausted but elated, Ethan realized that his skill, patience, and ingenuity were not just keeping him alive, they were transforming the station. By the end of several weeks of continuous work, the station looked vastly different from the abandoned relic Ethan had first encountered. Lights glowed steadily in all corridors, drones moved efficiently through their assigned tasks, and life support systems maintained perfect conditions. The hydroponic gardens flourished, producing food and clean oxygen. Energy flows were optimized and navigation systems responded smoothly to commands. The station was no longer just alive, it was thriving. Ethan took a moment to walk through the central corridor, observing the results of his labor. He touched a wall panel, feeling the vibrations of the fully operational systems. Every improvement had been guided by human creativity and problem-solving, enhancing the alien design rather than simply copying it. For the first time, he truly felt a sense of pride. He was alone, yes, but capable of feats that no human outside could yet imagine. That night, as Ethan gazed through the observation window at the endless stars, he felt a sense of connection, not just to the station but to humanity as a whole. Humans were explorers, inventors, and problem-solvers. Alone on a distant alien station, he had proven that one human mind could adapt, improve, and even master alien technology. The thought filled him with determination. The station was no longer a challenge to fear. It was a canvas for creation. Ethan sat at the central console, sketching ideas for the next stage of transformation. He envisioned improved drone networks, advanced energy optimization, and enhanced navigation protocols. Every innovation was a combination of human ingenuity and alien brilliance. The possibilities were endless, limited only by his imagination. As he worked late into the cycle, Ethan reflected on how far he had come. From a stranded engineer facing unknown dangers, he had become a master of the station's systems. The isolation that once seemed unbearable now offered him freedom. The freedom to experiment, innovate, and push the boundaries of what a human could accomplish. Ethan realized that the station was no longer just a place of survival. It was becoming a symbol of human ingenuity, a testament to what one determined individual could achieve when faced with challenges beyond comprehension. The work was far from complete, but he knew that the most remarkable transformations were still ahead. With a quiet sense of purpose, Ethan turned back to the central console. He would continue his work section by section, system by system, until the entire station was a masterpiece, a fusion